Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching This Show, your new favorite pop culture YouTube channel where we talk about movies, TV, music, and more. And as always, this is a spoiler show, but you do need to know that part, but you don't need to know all the previous stuff because we're just watching episode 2 of The Last of Us.
Infected. You were on a fucking roll.
I was, in my head, I was like, she thinks I don't know it. She thinks because it's been a minute, I don't know what I'm doing, and I know what I'm doing.
You halfway know what you're doing.
This is So I'm Watching The Last of Us, Season 1, Episode 2,
Infected.
It feels very,
like chapters in a video game? I mean...
It's not a very plotty show.
No,
it's like a very...
Not so far, at least. It might get there. Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna.
Well, yeah.
But it's very vibey. It's very cool. I'm super in. I'm very impressed with the production.
Mm-hmm.
I like that it feels... It's very well trodden territory, and yet I don't feel like this again.
It scares me the most.
Do you not feel sort of like you've seen one, you've seen them all?
No. Like, it's different enough that it's fresh and fun.
There's a strange flourish to it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just like the fungal
They are...
annihilation.
Yeah.
Those little water things that you got where you drop the rocks in and they went like this when you were a kid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those were so cool.
What grows 10 times in size and will crystallize right before your eyes? The original magic rocks.
I liked those a lot. I do want to spend a minute talking about, this is 2 episodes in a row now that opened with essentially what amounts to a cold open before the credits start that happens like before the outbreak.
Lengthy.
Unreal.
Riveting.
So good.
Riveting. That honestly is my favorite part.
Yeah.
And I kind of hope they keep doing it. I asked your husband, Will, I was like, does the game get into like where it originated from and all that stuff? And he was like, not really. And I mean, I don't know that I think production needs to be making, changes or like creating lore.
Yeah.
But I like that.
Well, okay. So 2 things. Number 1, Neil Druckmann directed this episode. He's the one who wrote the video game. And number 2, I think that is probably something...
Wrote the video game?
Yeah.
But he directed. Interesting.
This episode, yeah. I do think that that's probably something he had in his head. That just there's not an elegant way to like get that into the video game, but there's more elegant ways to get that into a TV show.
Yeah, it's a TV show.
Yeah.
I would imagine more than it does.
Yeah. So everybody on the internet was right that it was wheat. It was like grain that started it, essentially.
Seems to be. Which
was pretty cool. Yeah. All right, fine. We don't have confirmation, but the heavy implication is that it was some sort of wheat. But I did love that whole opening bit with the
in Jakarta with the professor,
yeah.
And the entire thing was is it Indonesian?
Yeah,
the entire thing was in Indonesian, and I mean, audiences have gotten way more sophisticated, but. Once upon a time, that was a radical move.
They would have just been speaking like vaguely racist, Middle Eastern accented English.
No, I really appreciated it. And it was so atmospheric, and it really allowed it had time to breathe and to just like exist. Because the only real shocking thing that we saw was the corpse and her cutting the leg, and then
well, she pulled it out. It wasn't coming out by itself. She pulled it out, and then she saw it, and she was like, "Fucking no!"
But it was moving.
Did it still move?
It
okay,
moved.
yeah.
And that's when she was like, "Ugh."
Yeah, big no for me.
But the gravity of that hit us in a way. Like we already have seen that. We already know, but it was constructed in such a way that it was kind of shocking watching it.
Because also after she gets out of the hazmat suit, when she's like in the room with the dead woman, and she's talking. Yeah, she's real shaky.
Cut to Trixie Mattel
drinking that tea.
Let me get this together today.
And she is talking to the man who essentially abducted her from lunch to go look at this. And she's like, how many workers from this like wheat factory are missing? And he says 14. And I was like,
the entire room,
No.
all of us were like,
No, that's too many. If like 2 people are missing, you can maybe still contain it. 14, that's game over. And she just was, because he was like, we need a vaccine or something, like, what can you do? And she was like, bomb it.
no, I loved that role reversal.
Yeah.
That the like cop was like, we need your science mind.
Yeah.
And the scientist was like, bomb the shit out of this place.
Nuke it.
I just
Yeah.
really, it was shocking and effective, and it really illustrated
Yeah.
what you're dealing with. And, you know, not for nothing, I know it's not an apples to apples comparison, but in 2023, in a post-pandemic world,
Yeah.
some of this stuff really is
It does.
bone-chilling. It
Yeah. And then
hits.
we do get confirmation later in the episode, in the true like meat of the episode, that they did just start bombing the cities, which I think is fascinating.
So I'm not, I guess I'm not fully on board or fully understanding the zombies, for lack of a better word, because it's fungal, and so it is a plant essentially that gets in them,
Mhm.
but they're still connected to it even if they're not physically tethered to it.
Yeah, but then at the end it was physically coming up between their hands
Okay,
to like
so they have to like charge?
tell
Is it like
them, I
charging
think.
stations, or is it like
I-
Wi-Fi or Bluetooth? Is it like Bluetooth?
It seems like it might be kind of, because
Okay.
when he shoots the one, that's when the like hive mind makes them all get up and start chasing.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
They were cool. I liked the exploded like
It's
fungus head.
it's really neat to look at. It's super gross, but it's really neat to look at, and I do appreciate the left turn.
And at this point, what is gross?
That's
Like,
true.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough.
Maybe, I mean, your mileage may vary, but for us, I'm like, eh.
But we all keep saying Annihilation, and it does feel quite a lot like
Well, Annihilation
that
was
movie.
prettier. There was
Yeah.
the shimmer is a prism.
Yeah.
Prism. Diffracts. I don't remember. It was a funny bit they did a
It
pop
was,
culture
yeah.
happy hour. But no, it was like rainbowy and stuff.
Yeah.
But I thought it was really interesting. The actual plot is we had Joel and Tess and Ellie. They are still they're out of the encampment.
Yeah.
They're out of Phaedra.
Well, it's
Fedra?
like the quarantine zone,
Yeah.
but Fedra, yeah.
And they were trying to get Ellie to a liaison that's supposed
Yeah.
to be taking her out west.
So I didn't realize that they were only meant to be taking her like one leg of the journey. Obviously I should have, because I know that it's just her and Joel like most of the time. But so they were just meant to be taking her like across the city to like meet up with someone else, some other group of Marlene's people. But once they get there is when they realize that they're all
And going
dead.
back, yeah, so they're all dead, and so they're kind of screwed, and they're trying to do that because they think they can make a cure or medicine or something from her.
Yeah, I do. I loved all the Joel and Tess stuff where like I love how against it he is. He's very like, this is fucking dumb, you guys. Like, absolutely not. This is the dumbest thing we've ever tried to do. It's so
Yeah,
stupid.
It was fine. The production handled it fine, but it was annoying to me because we, the audience, know that
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah.
We certainly suspect.
Yeah. So, but I do love that she just is like, come on, man, like, we'll get our battery. So, because he still just wants to be looking for Tommy, is like his thing. He's like, this is wasting my time, but it's the only way they're going to get the battery for the truck that they need. So they have to do this meetup.
We got a little bit of like a lesson where Joel said that the average ones die out after a month or two, but some of them have been here the entire time.
Yeah. I think we're going to get, there's like bigger ones.
Yeah. But that gives me, that's one of my big things with zombie stories and stuff, is it was like, do these things not die of the elements?
Yeah.
Or like starvation or...
That's one of my largest issues with The Walking Dead as well, is that it's like, by the end of it, a lot of time had passed and they were like more
Or you would think, like,
broken,
wouldn't
but
winter, like,
they did
if
slow
not kill them, wouldn't
down.
it damage?
Yeah.
Because they are still organic material.
And that was actually World War Z. Like, lots of people fled to the cold because they couldn't survive in the cold.
Okay. I like that. But no, it's interesting, and I imagine they'll tell us more as we need to know. There was a very, very unsettling and effective visual of our heroes on top of the hotel
Mhm.
and watching the cordyceps And they were just sort of like rolling,
Yeah.
like wallowing about. And it was just very odd watching
It was really weird and creepy.
humans
Yeah.
behave in that manner. I also like all the dead people built into the sets.
Oh my god.
I think that's
It's
really interesting.
very cool and gross and like unsettling, and really I'm a fan.
And we did get that they don't see, but they can hear. I don't know if that stands for all of them, because some of them very clearly have eyes.
I think it's like, they're, because
I think it might have, those two
they definitely couldn't see.
they're very Pan's Labyrinth.
But I do feel like they maybe all can't see because the fungus fully takes them over. Because it's like the guy in the first episode, and there are those like funguses or whatever that take over ants, and they're just basically like dead bodies. I don't think the ant is actually like receiving anything.
I don't know. That's an interesting detail.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
But that's why they're clicking, because it's kind of like echolocation.
I'm not gonna pick it apart, but
Yeah.
I found it interesting. I don't know that I was ready to lose Tess.
I'm just gonna be prepared for every person who's got a name that's famous to be in it for a max of 2 episodes.
Yeah, she was really. I think she was really necessary for me, for my viewing coming into and establishing. I think without her, I might not have been quite as pulled in.
Yeah.
And I did sort of. It was horribly cliche, but I don't know that that's always a problem. I mean, sometimes, and it's. I mean the getting bitten immediately, the getting bitten off screen, the reveal. But sometimes oldies are goodies for a reason.
Within the story, the tragedy for me is that it appears, I mean, they're not super like emotional or like romantic people, and it's obviously the apocalypse or whatever, but like I don't think she could kiss him goodbye. And I think he's like I think he's at the end of his fucking rope at this point. And I feel like he could have really used an embrace. But then she got kissed goodbye, and I don't care for that at all.
I don't care for that Avatar mating ritual that they're doing.
Not a fan. It was
either way.
No, it was not. I was not it for me.
I want sex organs interlocking. I don't need if there's tendrils involved. I'm not here for it. Yeah, so Ellie is good. She's funny. She's interesting and entertaining.
Yeah.
Because that is a type of character that can be a little bit tricky.
An overly precocious 14-year-old
teenage girl. But she's handling it well. Way too quick to go bounding into that hotel bog.
Yeah. Look, she's like never
crotch deep in green water.
It was pretty disgusting. She's never experienced anything before.
Oh, also she was bit because she was
exploring like a boarded up mall.
She was urban exploring a abandoned mall, and one of them bit her.
Yeah,
that's that. So
she made a comment about how, because they found a man in the museum who was like cut to ribbons essentially, and to shreds, you say. And she was like, that's not how it happened to me. Like, I got attacked, and that's not what it was like. And so it does seem like there might be different levels of them.
No, I don't think so, because I think he was part of the caravan that they were going to meet that just fought. Because I was with you where I was like, oh, interesting.
Well, that was a whole building before. That was the museum, not the state building.
I still think he was very fresh.
Interesting.
And it matched a lot. I mean, I'll allow it, but I went the same place you did, but then when they found the others, I was like, oh.
Interesting. Okay. Well, either way, it was an interesting thing for her to note that she was like, that's not what it was like for me.
Great set dressing and all that. Yeah, really I'm very much just enjoying myself.
I also do think Tess was basically like her sacrificing herself and dying to like get them away, I think is probably like the first step in Joel like accepting this as like what he's gonna do. But I also do feel like the implication I'm getting is that he and Ellie are going to leave a wake of destruction in their.
That's literally what's going to be. So they're just going to acquire people to throw themselves on grenades.
Yeah. Rip Nick Offerman in 2 weeks, I guess.
Because that is the challenge of adapting something like a video game. It certainly suits serial, like television, more so than it does film. But I don't know. Well, does it?
I'm digging it so far. I think Pedro Pascal is fantastic, and like you said, I think Bella Ramsey is doing an amazing job.
My favorite thing thus far, 2 episodes in, my favorite thing thus far is I think that it's got a really good tone.
Yeah,
It takes itself very seriously, or it takes itself seriously,
But
and
in the
it
right
is
way.
prestige, but I don't feel suffocated by
Mhm.
it, and it doesn't feel pretentious,
Yeah.
and it doesn't feel like I think it's really kind of got a good
Yeah.
tone. So
because it does have a decent sense of humor. Like
Mhm.
when Joel and Ellie were like talking and like asking each other questions and stuff. That was cute. That was interesting. I'm digging it. I'm really excited to keep going. So
all right. Well, hopefully you had a good time, and hopefully we see you back next week. If you want, please like and subscribe. The likes does the best for helping boost us through the algorithm. We have a website if you want to check out our back catalog and all that stuff, and we have a Patreon and a Cashapp and a Venmo, and we do all kinds of stuff on our Patreon where we're even getting into some full-length reactions,
Yep.
because I know that the Venn diagram of The Last of Us and Drag Race viewers is almost a perfect circle.
yeah.
So if you want to watch us watch Drag Race,
Yeah.
head on over to Patreon
You never know. You might like it.
or Teen Wolf.
Yeah. Come on.
So, all right,
Bye.
bye. I don't know the song yet, so I can't sing along.
Just a bunch of clicks.